Once upon a time, in a dense forest filled with towering trees and lush greenery, a young deer was born. The forest was peaceful, and the deer, from the very beginning, found comfort in the gentle rhythm of its surroundings. His mother, a wise and kind-hearted doe, raised him with love and care. They lived with a community of deer, and the young one, like all the others, followed the simple, calm life of grazing in meadows, avoiding danger, and staying within the safe boundaries of their peaceful world. From the moment he could walk, the young deer was taught the rules of the forest: never stray far from the herd, always be cautious of predators, and trust in the safety of numbers. The young deer grew up knowing these rules as truths, living quietly and humbly among his fellow deer. His life was like that of every other deer in the forest, predictable and peaceful. However, something inside him always felt a little different. While the other deer were content with their lives, there was a quiet longing within him to explore, to know more about the world beyond the boundaries of the forest. One bright early morning, as the young deer ventured a little farther than usual, he noticed something strange. He came across a mighty, powerful creature standing at the edge of the forest, overlooking the open plains. It was a large, majestic lion. The lion's golden mane glistened in the morning sun, and his eyes gleamed with strength and wisdom. The deer was awestruck by the sight of this powerful beast, who radiated confidence and authority. The young deer had never seen such a creature before, and immediately felt a mixture of fear and fascination. For the first time, the deer began to question his own existence. He looked at the lion, who stood tall and proud, and then at himself. He was smaller, weaker, and meek. "What am I?" he thought. "Why am I so different from that lion? Is there something more to me than this simple life I live?" As he pondered these thoughts, the lion turned toward him, his eyes locking onto the young deer's. "Why do you look so lost, little one?" the lion asked in a deep, resonant voice. The young deer, startled but curious, replied, "I have always been taught to live like the other deer, to stay within the boundaries of the forest. But looking at you, I realize I have always felt different. I have always wondered if there is more to me than just grazing and living quietly. Am I destined for more than this humble life?" The lion's eyes softened, and he sat down beside the deer. "You are not just a deer," he said. "You are capable of far more than you think. The life you've lived so far has limited your view of yourself, but deep inside you lies strength, courage, and potential that you haven't even begun to tap into." The young deer listened intently, his heart beating faster. He felt a flicker of hope in his chest, something he hadn't felt in years. The lion continued, "I see something in you, something powerful, but you have to break free from the limitations that have held you back. You have to stop seeing yourself only as a deer and start seeing yourself as you truly are." "But how?" the deer asked, his voice trembling. "How do I change? I've always been afraid to step out of my comfort zone. What if I fail?" The lion looked him in the eye and said, "The fear you feel is normal. But fear is not a reason to stay stuck. It is a reason to grow. You must face your fears, trust your instincts, and take that first step toward who you truly are. Remember, the greatest changes begin with a single decision to believe in yourself." The young deer stood silently, processing the lion's words. He realized that he had spent his life afraid to venture beyond what was familiar. He had lived his whole life within the safe boundaries of the forest, convinced that his place in the world was small and insignificant. But now the lion had shown him a glimpse of something greater, something inside himself that was waiting to be discovered. The next day, with the lion's encouragement in his heart, the young deer decided to take the first step. He left the familiar meadows behind and ventured further than he had ever dared. He faced his fear of the unknown, and step by step began to explore new parts of the world. As days passed, the young deer began to notice changes within himself. He became more confident, more capable, and most importantly, he began to believe in his own strength. He ran faster, leaped higher, and grew more aware of his surroundings. Every time he overcame an obstacle, he felt a surge of pride and accomplishment. He realized that the limitations he had once accepted as truth were simply stories he had told himself. And now, with each passing day, he was becoming more than just a deer. He was becoming the powerful, courageous being he had always been deep down. One day, as he stood on a hill overlooking the vast plains, he saw the lion again. The lion approached him and asked, "How do you feel now, little one?" The young deer smiled, his eyes shining with newfound confidence. "I feel powerful. I feel like I am capable of so much more than I ever imagined." The lion nodded. "And that is the truth. You are not just what others told you you were. You are what you believe yourself to be. And now you have seen the power that lies within you." The moral of the story is simple yet profound. You are not limited by the labels others place on you or by the fears you carry inside. Your true potential lies in the belief that you are capable of greatness. Sometimes you need to break free from the comfort of the familiar and step into the unknown to discover the powerful person you truly are. So don't be afraid to face your fears and embrace the strength within you. You have the power to achieve anything you set your mind to, and the journey toward greatness begins with the decision to believe in yourself.